Hey everyone, welcome back to Discovering Now with Kevin. I'm Kevin. All right, hey, if you watched my last video, you know that I reacted to Red Gum's song, I Was Only 19. And I did a bit of research in that video leading up to watching that video so I can better understand the song before I listened to it and reacted to it. And a lot of you showed gratitude for that, and I appreciate you letting me know that. But some of you also commented that I should watch the original video, the black and white footage, that kind of built up and how it was more impactful. And I did. And you're right. So I chose the lyric one to do that because I wanted to see the lyrics of the song, but I see what you mean now. After hearing the song and the lyrics, understanding it from, the Wikipedia article that I read, watching that video, the other one that you had all recommended, and I decided I wasn't going to do that as a reaction video. You're right. What an impactful, very impactful video that turned out to be. We're still getting close to Remembrance Day, right? I mean, as I'm recording this, it's nearing the end of October. Remembrance Day is November the 11th. Thank you to all of you who let me know that not only do you guys actually use the poppy as well, but you also celebrate Remembrance Day the same. And I don't know why I didn't think of that beforehand, because of course November the 11th, I think like everyone in the Allied forces celebrates November the 11th because it was the end of the war. I mean, everybody would, right? It was the armistice. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a foolish moment of me not thinking about that, but thank you all of you in the comments for letting me know that you certainly do celebrate, or not necessarily celebrate, but remember that day as well. Well, today I'm going to be reacting to another video you all told me I should check out. I'm going to be reacting to another song. This one by Eric Bogle, I believe is the name it's called, and the band played Waltzing Matilda. Now, I did do some research into this one as well, and I did it before this video because I didn't want to spend too much time in this video talking about the research I did or researching it with you, but I did do some. The first thing I wanted to do was understand the song Waltzing Matilda. So the first bit of research I did was in that. I wanted to know the song and understand. And because I've heard it before, right? It's not a new song, but I never really fully understood. So then I learned what a swagman is. I learned what Matilda was and all of these things. I learned about the story of the song and its connection to Aussie culture. Then I learned a little bit about what I can expect in this song. Now, I still haven't listened to it, but I did learn a little bit about what I can expect in this song. And I did some research from that as well. And I uncovered some really interesting things I can't wait to share with you while we react to the song, because I know there's going to be moments I'm going to be pausing it and it's going to bring up some of the stuff that I've uncovered in very little bit of research I did, things that surprised me, including the connection of the Newfoundland Regiment and the Australian and New Zealand Defense Forces. I mean, I don't know how come I didn't know this beforehand, but I'm going to be covering that with you very shortly. Let's just get started with this video. Before I do, please, if you haven't already, consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Without further ado, let's watch this together. Starts off with a banjo.
Now when I was a young man, I carried me pack, and I lived the free life of the rover. From the Murray's green basin to the dusty outback, well, I waltzed my Matilda all over. Then in 1915, my country said, son, it's time you stop rambling, there's work to be done. So they gave me a tin hat and they gave me a gun, and they marched me away to the war. And the band played Waltzing Matilda, as the ship pulled away from
I just gotta pause it for a second. I mean, it looks like, everyone here kind of in this picture here, I'm assuming these are soldiers heading off to war and their families and loved ones, holding onto a string, maybe connecting them before saying goodbye. It breaks my heart. It really truly does. Knowing what war can do and has done, but more importantly, knowing in this context what World War I has done to our youth. Um, how many of these brave young men will never see their loved ones on this dock again?
the quay, and amidst all the cheers, the flag waving and tears, we sailed off for Gallipoli.
Gallipoli. Okay. Okay, here we go. All right. I'm going to take the video off for a quick second here because this is what I was talking about when I did some research. But Gallipoli. Um, did you know that the Newfoundland Regiment fought side by side with the Australian Defence Forces and the New Zealand Defence Forces at Gallipoli? Did you know that? I didn't until I did a bit of research into this beforehand. Um, in fact, hearing this song is reminding me of just that the story of Gallipoli and the Newfoundland Regiment at the time known as the Blue Puttees. They used to wear these blue wraps around their legs, which kind of like made them stand out a little bit. And that's where they got the name Blue Puttees. Um, they joined forces with Anzacs. And I want to show this to you. Look at this. I didn't know we did this, but we actually celebrate Anzac Day with you here in Newfoundland. This is the Royal Newfoundland Regiment here, 1st Battalion Royal Newfoundland Regiment, holding its annual parade to commemorate the British and French armies landing in the Gallipoli Peninsula. Annual parade took place on Sunday, April 28th, with the 223rd birthday celebrations of the regiment, whose birthday also falls on April 25th. So we actually have our day on April 25th, and we celebrate in conjunction with Australians. And I wanted to know more a bit about this, and that's when I found this. I'm going to have a link to this in the description. This is a radio interview done by CBC's Jamie Fitzpatrick with the guy who runs the Regiment Museum in Newfoundland. His name is Frank Gogos. And this interview actually talks about the connection that Newfoundland has with New Zealand and Australia, and how they remember Anzac Day as well, which marks, of course, the 1950 landing on the Gallipoli Peninsula during the First World War. I didn't know this. This didn't really click with me until I did this research, because I mean, I've heard of the term Anzac before, right? Like, I mean, when you all first mentioned it in the comments previously in other videos, I was like, why does that sound so familiar, Anzac? Why do I know that? Well, it turns out because it's part of my culture as well here in Newfoundland, and I didn't dawn on me until then. But yeah, so our boys they bought it, and there was a story I read when I was doing some bit of research here about the Newfoundlanders, Aussies, and Kiwis. They were young, far from home, going through this absolute nightmare that is World War I. But there was a story about how there was an evacuation that was to be done, and it was with those three. It was Aussies, Kiwis, and Newfoundlanders, and they had together the three had to evacuate from where they were. They were staying together. There's a lot of really cool stories about them. Stories that they shared about how we both come from very rugged places. Australia, especially with your outback, Newfoundland, with our rugged landscape that we live in as well. So there's a lot of shared stories amongst that. But what they had done in the evacuation was set up decoys to not alert the enemy. They had fires that were lit to make it look like they were still there. They had uh, what looked like gunners were still in position, and people were still, so they made this whole decoy of their place where they were staying before they left together, helping everyone get out with much fewer casualties than I think would have happened had they have not done that. And so it's moments like that that seem to have forged this connection that still runs deep, because I saw some interviews of people from the Newfoundland Regiment that fought in World War One. Of course, they're no longer with us, but actually talking about those stories and those connections. And there's a song here in Newfoundland called "Recruiting Sergeant" by a band called Great Big Sea, and it really hits home here in Newfoundland in a similar way that I think, and the band played Waltzing Matilda hits to those of you in Australia. It's a powerful reminder of the lives and of the dreams, of course, that were lost. And I think that both songs seem to capture that sense of sacrifice and the bittersweet pride of those who serve. It's a reminder of the cost of war. That's something that Newfoundland, Australia, and New Zealand will never forget. And I just wanted to share that bit of research with you. As soon as I saw him mention Gallipoli in that song, I apologize for this long pause, this long break. Let's get back to this video, but I did want to share that, and hopefully this can help us create a connection more as well between us.
And how well I remember that terrible day, how our blood stained the sand and the water, and of how in that hell that they called Suvla Bay, we were butchered like lambs at the slaughter. Johnny Turkey was waiting, he'd primed himself well. He showered us with bullets, and he rained us with shell. And in 5 minutes flat, he'd blown us all to hell. Nearly blew us right back to Australia. But the band played Waltzing Matilda when we stopped to bury our slain. We buried ours, and the Turks buried theirs. Then we started all over again.
Pausing it for another second because I'm starting to get emotional. I don't know why I get speechless when I get emotional, but I do. And I think part of what's leading to me being emotional right now is, of course, this song, this story. But also, I did watch, as I mentioned, I watched the other video that you had recommended in relation to I was only 19, just before recording this. And so I still got that on my mind as well.
And
get through this
those
together,
that
guys.
were left, well, we tried to survive in that mad world of blood, death, and fire. And for 10 weary weeks I kept myself alive, though around me the corpses piled higher.
Imagine.
Then a big turkey.
Imagine having to go through that. Some of you watching in my last video were vets, and you shared your stories, and I want to thank you for your service. I can only imagine the horrors that you've had to endure.
Yeah. Shall knock me arse overhead, and when I woke up in me hospital bed and saw what it had done, well, I wished I was dead. Never knew there was worse things than dying. Thought I'll go, no more waltzing Matilda, all around the green bush far and free, to hum tent and pegs, a man needs both legs. No more waltzing Matilda for me. So they gathered the crippled, the wounded, the maimed, and they shipped us back home to Australia. The legless, the armless, the blind, the insane, those proud wounded heroes of Suvla. And as our ship pulled into Circular Quay, I looked at the place where me legs used to be, and thank Christ there was nobody waiting for me to grieve, to mourn, and to pity.
I'm sorry. Just the picture, I'm remembering the beginning of this video, and the picture of them leaving and all the people there, and saying goodbye, and there was this whole, and then they come home and he just said it. Nobody there waiting. I mean, the farewells were bittersweet. The arrival back home just wasn't the same. It wasn't what they deserved. Man.
But the band played Waltzing Matilda as they carried us down the gangway. But nobody cheered, they just stood and stared. Then they turned all their faces away. And so now, every April, I sit on me porch and I watch the parade pass before me. And I see my old comrades, how proudly they march, reviving old dreams of past glories. And the old men march slowly, all bones stiff and sore. They're tired old heroes from a forgotten war. And the young people ask, what are they marching for? And I ask myself the same question. But the band plays Waltzing Matilda, and the old men still answer the call. But as year follows year, more old men disappear. Someday no one will march there at all. Waltzing Matilda, Waltzing Matilda, who'll come a waltzing Matilda with me? And their ghosts may be heard as they march by that billabong. Who'll come a waltzing Matilda with me?
Sorry. Wow. I said in my last video, and some of you reiterated in the comments, that wars are started by the politicians, right? And it's unfortunate that we end up having to send our young people. As I mentioned, I mean, I was only 19. I have a son who's 18, a son who's 21, and I can't, for the life of me, imagine them having to be dragged into a war like this. Now, I get it. You know, wars, World War I, World War II, and many other wars were about defending freedom because the enemy was attacking. But how many other times have wars been started by arguing politicians, not over defense, but over other things? And we send our young to die. We say to fight, but I mean, and it is to fight, but it's also to die. And for what? I am anti-war, and I think that if you're not, I don't know, I don't want to offend anybody, but I am anti-war, and yet at the same time, I have the utmost respect for our militaries, utmost respect for those who are willing to go to war, to sacrifice everything, not just for them and their family, but for me and my family. I've lost friends to wars. I lost a very dear friend in Afghanistan. He was honored here where I live in Corner Brook. Street named after him, Corporal Brian Pinkson. But he was only young. He was very young. Brother Blair, younger brother, was a great young man. And I remember talking to him and his mother Debbie after we lost Brian. And the impact that this all has on people. I mean, yeah. You guys did it to me again, man. Ugh. No more for a while, okay? I'm taking a break from the emotional stuff. I have to. Wow. I will be reacting to, or learning about, I should say, more than anything, cricket coming up this week. Stay tuned for that. I mean, yeah, that's the normal stuff. I do free virtual tours. Got to mention those in every video, folks. I hope you get it to one of them at least. worldvirtualtours.online/Kevin. Check them out. They are free. Also, yeah, just if you like this video, this stuff here, I'm just, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hey, you enjoyed that video? Well, if you did, check out this one down below. It was a lot of fun to make. I think you'll enjoy that one as well. And if you really enjoy the videos on my channel, be sure to hit that little icon over there. That allows you to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. And hey, join us over on the Discord. It's a lot of fun over there as well.